Welcome to the video today. We're going to be watching some true crime content. A lot of this comes from my React channel on Discord. So if you haven't been a part of my Discord yet and have some videos you'd love me to see and watch together on stream or in video, join that Discord and throw some videos in the suggestions tab, the React suggestions tab. And obviously, if you're watching this on YouTube, you missed the Twitch stream, but I stream almost every single day. So, even if it's not React stuff, you're always welcome to come over here and hang out. I have a couple people watching and they're pretty cool. If you're watching this on YouTube, please sub to the YouTube channel because I like knowing that people like watching this stuff because it makes me feel like sitting around and saying things about my degree has been worth the trouble. Intro time. All right. Another video. We're going to be watching another dreading video called Mom Falsely Accuses a Man of Attempted Kidnapping, the Anatomy of a False Accusation. W dreading video. As always, I have to go downstairs really lickety split and get the dinner I have made for me, apparently. Okay. Sorry, I wanted to look cool, but I still have to like mute and get up. We'll see. All right. Like I said, we're going to be watching a video by Dreading again called Mom Falsely Accuses Man of Attempted Kidnapping. I'm sure Dreading's going to do a great job here, as always.
Man is behind bars after police say he tried to kidnap
What's happening?
a child
There we go.
in Ackworth Walmart.
I was in the Walmart and I had to rip my baby out of some other man's hands because he was trying to snatch him.
Someone trying to snatch your baby?
Yes.
Ackworth police say that this man, 56-year-old Mahendra Patel from Kennesaw, tried to snatch the child away from his mother in the Walmart on Cobb Parkway last week.
Did someone try to take you from mommy?
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, 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 what are you doing? What are you doing? And I got him back, and then he just stared at me and then goes, oh, I just wanted to get him out of your lap so you could get up and help me.
Tonight, Mahendra Patel, a Kennesaw man accused of trying to kidnap a toddler from a Walmart, is officially free. His case just dismissed in court.
Mahendra Patel had gone to Walmart in order to pick up some medicine for his elderly mother. His daughter had been thoughtful enough to text him the exact kind that they needed. And as he browsed the seemingly endless aisles, he could not seem to locate anything remotely close to what she had sent to him. Feeling a bit out of his element, Patel looked for an employee or passerby for help. And at that moment, a young mother was passing by him on a mobile scooter with her 2 children. She was holding one of the children in her lap, while the other was riding near her feet. When Patel approached the young mother, she appeared more than happy to help. Caroline Miller would go on to point to where she thought the medicine might be, but in doing so almost dropped the child on her lap. Being a father himself and understanding how difficult juggling multiple kids could be, he reached out to make sure the child didn't fall. Despite her help, he still wasn't able to locate the exact medicine, so he thanked Miller and asked for another individual in the area for assistance, before ultimately leaving to find an employee who might be able to find the medicine for him. As he left, Patel saw Miller once more and stopped to inform her that he had been able to find it, despite their trouble. He paid for the medicine and then left the store. It was a normal interaction, one that he'd likely forget in a day or two. But 3 days later, he would be arrested and charged with attempted kidnapping and simple assault and battery. He was held without bond as the prosecution argued he posed a threat to society. His name would also be smeared in the press, and he would receive countless death threats as he waited in jail for over a month, all for something objectively that didn't happen. Welcome back to another episode of Dreading, or if this is your first time here, welcome. Today we're going to be reviewing the case of Mahendra Patel, a man who casually tried to help a young mother at Walmart, only to be hit with a false defamatory claim of attempted kidnapping. Because of this false claim, Patel was held at gunpoint by police, and then arrested and forced to reside in prison for over a month of his life. Meanwhile, Caroline Miller went on a press run, defaming the father and lying about what happened in their brief interaction. This isn't the first time that an incident like this has occurred, and we'll be discussing the psychological reasoning behind these kinds of reports. As always, if there's a video you would like to see on the channel or a story you want to bring more attention to, let us know by emailing us at dreading.official@gmail.com. We're consistently going through the email and adding your suggestions to the list. But be aware, we are just 2 people, so it will take us some time to get to every video that's been requested. But we promise we are trying. So with all of that said, let us begin. Caroline Miller was not the first and will likely not be the last person to make a false police report in this way. In fact, there are plenty of recent examples that we can use to understand how and why false reports like this are made. After Patel left Miller, the mother likely felt that the interaction was odd, not criminally significant, but it was just a bit strange. She might have not appreciated him touching her child, even if it was just to keep them from falling, but she scooted away from him without issue as he leisurely left the area. Notably though, immediately after engaging with Patel, another man would help her with her children. She would back up out of the pharmacy aisle and into a store display. In doing so, her eldest daughter fell out of the scooter without Miller noticing, and she ran over the child's foot. The stranger would grab the child and the scooter, lifting both up, and held onto the girl a bit longer than Patel had. But for some reason, this incident didn't register as a potential kidnapping or criminal plot to the mother. She laughed with the stranger, put her daughter back on the cart, and continued to go about her day. As the mother shopped, she ruminated on what happened with Patel and began to warp the details in her mind. It's clear to see that based on the video of the interaction and the timeline of events that Miller didn't take issue with Patel's actions at the time. She wasn't screaming for help and didn't try to fight him off. Plus, she didn't make any employees that were nearby aware of what she would later label as a kidnapping attempt. Patel would approach her after finding the medicine, just to tell her that he managed to locate it after her efforts. But by this time, Miller had convinced herself that she had barely kept her youngest from being snatched away from her arms. After Patel would check out and leave the store, Miller would tell an employee that she believed that the 56-year-old man had attempted to kidnap her child 10 minutes earlier. This is notable because it displays how Miller was able to warp her own perception of reality after the fact. Maybe she had heard other kidnapping stories of kids being snatched out of their parents' laps in big box stores, or had been traumatized by some past encounter. But the more time that elapsed since the incident, the more she was sure that she had just saved her son from a kidnapping plot. When false claims like these are made, the accuser usually sincerely believes on what they are reporting. These aren't necessarily Machiavellian types who are seeking to ruin someone's life, even if that is the result of their actions. These are often people who believe what they are saying, and believe that they are fighting to protect others. Their perception of the world around them doesn't align with reality, but they are completely unaware of this fact. They don't realize that they are lying or greatly exaggerating about what happened, even when it feels blatantly obvious to the public based on the direct evidence. Miller wasn't concerned about security footage being presented in court, or with eyewitness testimony not aligning with her perception, because as far as she was aware, she was telling the truth. This is evidenced by the fact that the majority of the time, these individuals will happily put their name and face behind the complaints. The interaction took place in a Walmart, where there were multiple security cameras in each aisle. Miller was aware of this fact, but believed that the cameras—
That's the case for every Walmart, by the way. So if you think you're going to get away with stealing in a Walmart, I have bad news for you. They absolutely watched you do that shit. And they are keeping a tab for when it's bad. I can almost guarantee you.
Would validate her story. It's also been shown that individuals who make false or exaggerated criminal complaints do not do so because they want to harm an innocent person, but because their response to being seen as a victim or a survivor can temporarily meet some of their psychological needs. The attention they receive can become emotionally rewarding, especially for individuals who feel overlooked or uncertain about their own significance. For a moment, they're in the spotlight, and that feels good. Being targeted in this way means that they are special, while creating a narrative that they fought off a kidnapper, or were able to preempt the kidnapping, which validates that they are a good parent as well as a good person. Which is why she was confident enough to not only make the claim, but go to the news and talk about what happened directly after Patel's arrest.
Caroline Miller, the toddler's mom, said they were in the aisle when Patel came up and asked her where the Tylenol was. When she raised her arm to point, she says that's when he grabbed her son. Thankfully, she said she still had a grip on him, and they entered what she described as a tug of war for about 10 seconds.
And I'm like, no, 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 what are you doing?
Crazy how that's not caught in the camera.
And I got him back, and then he just stared at me and then goes, oh, I just wanted to get him out of your lap so you could get up and help me, which was weird. That didn't make any sense. And then he just walked off.
Despite the fact that Caroline had described what happened as being her worst nightmare and deeply traumatizing, her recounting is cheerful and upbeat. She's making jokes about the incident, even though we have direct, unflinching evidence that what she is saying didn't occur the way she is claiming. She isn't scared that her child was almost taken from
Just
her
a
in her
parent's
own
nightmare
community.
scenario.
She
Let
doesn't
me
feel
be
fearful about
jolly
going
about it.
outside. She's peppy, as if she feels excited about her son being targeted as part of a kidnapping plot. 3 days after Miller would make her complaint, Patel would be arrested and charged with simple assault, simple battery, and kidnapping. And because of the danger he supposedly posed to the community, he was held without bond.
I mean, guys, you're not even considering that it might have been awkward because he might be like having immigrated. Like, he might not be like he might have been an immigrant. Like, he might have immigrated here, so English might not be his first language. So that could be the issue, is like he doesn't know how to look for it or he doesn't know like what it is. So he's trying to get somebody that would be able to point out what Tylenol is. Especially because everywhere else, it's referred to as acetaminophen because it is acetaminophen. Tylenol is just a company that creates acetaminophen. Or, I'm getting my shit mixed up. Tylenol is acetaminophen, and everybody refers to it elsewhere as paracetamol. You said it in chat. Thank you. Yeah. Or I don't remember. Fuck it. I study crime. I don't study medicine. Either way, he might be from somewhere that doesn't refer to it as Tylenol and has no idea what that means. That's my point, okay?
The police claimed that they had investigated her story and found evidence of his guilt, although that doesn't seem to be the case. One of the sergeants that was allegedly investigating the case would tell 11 Live News, quote, "For me, it would terrify me as well. It would be very scary because I wouldn't want my kid to be like that either, or attempted to be kidnapped. I understand it's pretty scary," unquote. He would go further to say, quote, "This could have been a whole different situation if that mother didn't fight back to get that child. Who knows what we could have been dealing with? We could have been dealing with an injured child or even worse, the death of a child."
Could have been dealing
unquote.
with nothing.
All because Patel kept a child from falling out of her mother's lap. While in jail, Patel's businesses suffered. He was the landlord of a daycare center in the area, and parents were quick to accuse him of trying to assault or predate on their children as well. Negative reviews were left, more accusations were thrown, only for the business owner to state that he'd never been on site during work hours and had never been around any of the children she cared for. She also went further to validate her false story against the landlord, claiming that based on Miller's story, he was likely a career predator and might have hurt other children before. It would be 47 days until Patel would have his day in court, and the following footage would be made public. The following is the footage from the trial.
That's a pretty speedy trial, I can't lie.
Crime here on YouTube. A link will be left to the original.
Unfortunately,
upload,
too little
should you
too
want to
late,
watch it,
apparently,
sans
based
our
off of what
commentary.
he's been messed
Just
with.
to kind of show the timeline. You can go ahead and play it. The timeline for the court when Mr. Patel enters the store at 8:16. And then you can see him walking, and he's on his phone, texting his daughter, which can be corroborated by the phone when we get it.
Bro, this is why I get my AirPods in when I'm in the store. Don't fucking talk to me. I'm overstimulated. Don't talk to me. Not happening. I mean, it will happen if somebody genuinely needs my attention. I am doing the most to make it clear I would rather you not. My brain is too busy looking at every item in the grocery store and going, wow, I wonder what it would be like to buy that one. Except I'm doing that 60 times each aisle because my brain wants to think about what if I bought corn tortillas instead of wheat tortillas today? Like, oh God. Too much potential, too many options. I get real loopy in the grocery store. I need AirPods. I need like music in so I don't like go, wow, what if I started getting cranberry juice? Like what? Oh, well, there's pineapple juice here too. What if I started getting pineapple juice too? Oh, but like there's like this mango pineapple fusion. I could get that. Like that could be good. Maybe I'll look at the ingredients on that. Maybe I'll look at nope, it's too many calories. Okay, well, what about the grape juice? Maybe I'm a grape juice guy. Nope, never mind. It's $6. Like, the entire time. Can't do it. Don't talk to me in the store, please. Well, You can talk to me in the store. Just know that I'm overstimulated, as the title suggests in the Twitch chat.
Now you see him. He's walking to the pharmacy section. This is the pharmacy section.
Yep, and then the snack aisle is the worst because you're wanting all of them. Yeah.
Interacts for the first time with Miss Miller. So that's Miss Miller in the cart, in the scooter.
Oh my God, he's practically yanking the child out. You can see him.
Obviously talking about the
He's
Tylenol.
moving so frantically.
And so the gentleman, you can see a gentleman in an orange shirt behind them. That's the gentleman I was talking about. That's the witness. His name is Mr. Leva.
All right.
He's the one that later assists.
All right.
And witnessed the whole thing.
The other person was right there. Why was he in jail for so long,
Mr. Leva
bro?
is. And behind this display cart is that's when you can see the beginning of Miss Miller's cart. So the incident, the alleged incident, is happening now. Here's the other view of it, flipping back so you can see both views. That's the alleged incident right there.
Wow, what a fight. What a fight for her life. Oh, and it's done.
He moves on, goes to get the Tylenol. She backs up into the display cart. She's laughing, joking with this gentleman. This is literally a split second after this alleged kidnapping. You see her child kind of get off the cart.
Oh, and
she
ran
runs
over.
over the child's foot. The guy jumps in to help.
Ooh.
She was having trouble with the cart. I mean, everybody says that. All of this is after this alleged kidnapping has taken place. There's Mr. Patel entering the video again. You see him walking past. He talks with this guy that's witnessed this alleged kidnapping.
That was, yeah, it's scary one.
Right there. Doesn't say a word.
That was crazy.
She's puttering along in her cart. He's chatting with this gentleman.
How precarious.
Asking about the Tylenol.
Is she manually doing it?
This gentleman speaks Spanish, so the communication's a little bit difficult there. Mr. Patel goes
she
to
manually pushing it with her foot?
He walks past Miss Miller again. There's that other interaction I mentioned, the third interaction, walks past her to find a Walmart employee.
Yeah, regardless of if she needs the cart or not, I mean, based off of the fact that she hasn't gotten out of it, I'm assuming she might, but either way, it's dangerous to have more than one person even in the cart, let alone on the cart. So it's pretty bad. She's like juggling her kids on the cart.
Again, this is all after this alleged kidnapping, so, he's not fleeing. He's going to find another employee. There's the employee walking him back to the Walmart pharmacy to show him where the Tylenol is. So you can see Miss Miller puttering along in her cart in the back of this video.
Puttering.
This employee shows Mr. Patel where the Tylenol is. Miss Miller puttering along still on her cart.
Puttering.
Mr. Patel walks past her, shows her, look, I got the Tylenol. She gives him a thumbs up.
Wow, she saved her son's life, clearly.
He keeps going. That's when, at 8:27, that's when she first
Okay, so now we're standing.
told this Walmart employee about this. At the same exact time, Mr. Patel is paying for his Tylenol, so he's still in the store.
So,
And you can see if you zoom in, and we didn't do that, but it's the rapid release Tylenol. It's a special gel Tylenol that it's the exact same label that his daughter texted him a picture of to buy. And Mr. Patel has no medical background. It's not surprising that he's asking his family for help. His wife's a doctor. His daughter's in medical school. So, I mean, it's
duh.
not surprising he's asking for assistance.
My wife's a nurse. I text her about the simplest medicine because I don't trust myself. I agree.
Pays with his card.
I'd be doing the same shit.
In his name.
There's like
to his bank
20
account.
different Tylenol boxes, especially for kids. You ever look at children's medicine? There's like
with this employee
dyed flavored, dye-free flavored. Like there's so many different shit. There's infant, toddler, child. Like there's so many different variations. And I'm like, oh.
I mean, he's like the typical elderly gentleman who talks to everybody at the store.
Okay, get his ass. Damn.
And then he leaves. 8:28.
According to Fox 5 Atlanta, the police would state that prior to the court appearance, they had only been aware of a partial video of the kidnapping attempt, but seemingly had not gone out of their way to gain the footage the way Patel's lawyer had.
Oh,
In other
so
words,
weird.
They had simply taken Miller's word for what had happened. And in even
Wow.
less words, they didn't do their fucking jobs, even
Yep.
though, as we just saw, there was easily accessible evidence to prove his innocence. However,
Yes.
the article that this information
Almost like
was sourced
Walmart
from
has
since been
hundreds of
taken down
cameras.
and is only available via the web archive. A link will be in the description should you want to verify this claim. Moreover, Merchant would also argue that Miller's claims should not have been taken seriously from the offset, given that she had a history of filing false police reports specifically against men. The attorney showed that since 2018, Caroline had put in over 20 police reports on various individuals. These reports went nowhere, as investigations had seemingly cleared the other alleged assailant of any wrongdoing. While it's easy to look at her
Bro.
actions and decipher them as malicious, the truth is somewhat more nuanced. It's important to remember that most people feel justified in their behavior and view themselves through a generally moral lens. Caroline is not trying to destroy other lives and reputations for fun, even if that is the end result of her claims. Filing
In-group
20
out-group
police
bias.
reports in the span of 7 years is a definite sign that Miller's perception of events has been warped by trauma of some kind. She's unable to process her surroundings in a relatively neutral way, and may be in a suspended state of fight or flight because of this. An older man touching her child to keep them from falling is seen as sinister. Another person cutting her off on the road feels like a personal attack, and the more time passes, the more confident she feels in believing that someone or something is out to get her. That being said, she obviously has no right to
I think people would be upset knowing that the amount of people that probably operate like this every day. Like every day. They're just constantly thinking everything's a personal slight. And yeah.
negatively affect the lives of innocent people around her. While we can understand how she may have come to falsely accuse multiple individuals, it's her responsibility to seek help so she doesn't continue to do this to other people. It's also in her best interest to get some sort of
Oh, I'm
specialized
sure she
help with
will.
this, so she
Definitely.
can properly move about the world and engage with her family and friends. Her trauma isn't her fault, but it is her responsibility to get help for it, given that it will only continue to negatively affect herself and those around her. Race.
It's also important to understand that like trauma doesn't excuse you from making bad choices. Like I am more than sympathetic to what people deal with at their home. That doesn't excuse your behavior. It can explain it. It doesn't make it okay, nor does it make it like justifiable. And just like you accidentally bumping into somebody in public and you say sorry, the intent didn't exist, but the result still happened. And you still create that apology despite your intent being to walk down the sidewalk just not disturbing people. You know what I mean? An explanation of behavior is more than valid and I'm more than empathetic to anybody who deals with that sort of stuff. But to use it as a way to get away with stuff, I will never sympathize with. I mean, that is an extremely abused and malicious trait to use someone's upbringing or your own as a way to like mistreat others. Certainly, especially if you don't actually have it and you're just using it as a weapon. That makes me even more pissed off, but you know, that's a whole different thing.
And age bias also likely played a significant part in her perception, although it's hard to know how much. As we mentioned previously, Patel was not the only man to help her with her kids in Walmart. There was another man who physically picked up her daughter and held on to her for longer than the 56-year-old had, but she had not falsely accused him of assault or kidnapping. This stranger was younger than Patel and more physically fit. Reports state that he was either white or Hispanic. Either way, he had a significantly lighter skin tone. The young mother would go on to describe Patel as a strange older man who stared at her oddly. A simple look and him asking for directions was quickly warped into some form of an attack, even though nothing like that happened. Patel was saved by the fact that there was video evidence of the encounter, but had those security cameras not recorded the entire ordeal, it would have been her word against his. And as we saw via the reporting, people were quick to believe her story with no supporting evidence. the police had thrown an innocent man in prison on the word of someone who appeared less than credible, while doing absolutely no work to validate the claims independently. To be plain, the general police protocol would have been to immediately ask for the security footage to independently verify what had taken place.
Which they know Walmart has. My computer beeps. There's no fucking reality that an American police department responding to a situation that was in a Walmart, there's no reality in which they're not like, gee, I wonder if they got footage of it. They absolutely got footage of it. Walmart curates their buildings to make sure every angle is accounted for. I'm not joking. They spend so much time on the interior of those stores to make sure like cameras and stuff catch any blind spot. They don't have blind spots. They spend a lot of time on this. They absolutely have the footage. And the police would know better. It is hard to not rule this as just being plain racist. Plain and simple
But it appeared
to
that
me.
they hadn't done shit or their due diligence in that regard. The Ackworth Police Department would attempt to save face after the security footage was found
really?
and told the Daily Mail, quote, "The video released by Patel's attorney does not show the entire incident. It seems to have been edited. It's not the video we have," unquote. They have yet to release the video that
Where's
they obtained,
yours?
which allegedly showed the incident in full, likely because it doesn't show the incident the way they claimed. If there was enough evidence to throw a man in prison for over a month and would quell the criticism thrown their way, they would have immediately made it public. This lone hearing completely
Yeah, just
changed
maybe.
the tides of public opinion. Patel had been slandered and smeared. His business had been tarnished, and he was forced to sit idle in jail, hoping that someone would eventually look into the case for themselves. But when the footage was made public, there was a massive shift. Suddenly, the same publications that implied that he was a serial predator and maybe part of a child trafficking ring were on his side, demanding his release. Community leaders and politicians were forced to get involved, and a Change.org petition was made, where nearly 1,000 individuals demanded he be released. But the district attorneys seemed to be dragging their feet, releasing Patel and dismissing the charges, opened them up to being sued for wrongful imprisonment. Instead, they granted him bond, and he was able to leave the Cobb County Jail after posting the $10,000 bond as they debated how to proceed. In the meantime, Miller's small public image had been tarnished. She would speak to the Daily Mail saying, quote, "Tried to tell her story, but it was twisted, and she does not want to be part of the narrative," unquote. But the narrative that had been spun had been her doing. She seems unable to make peace with that idea, even though she had been the one to call the police in the first place and had fabricated the story in which she spent 10 seconds wrestling her child away from the older Indian man. And despite all of this, she was unable to claim any responsibility for her actions. She victimized herself once again, going so far as to claim now that the media, the police, and the public had willfully misrepresented her initial claims. It's an incredibly childish response, especially given the circumstances. But again, she never considered that the surveillance footage wouldn't validate her claims. Before the footage was made public, the police and district attorney had supported Caroline, further cementing her misrepresentation of what had happened in this instance. It took 3 months for all the charges against Patel to be dropped, and as of today, he is currently suing the city of Ackworth for $25 million. Yes, based on similar cases, it is likely it'll be successful.
Get
Caroline, she has yet to face any real repercussions for her actions outside of the public backlash.
Holy
In similar
fucking
cases,
moly,
like the false kidnapping
deserving.
claims that were put forward by mom influencer Katie Sorensen, the state charged Sorensen for filing a false police report, and she was eventually found guilty. But I don't think that's going to happen here. Because the police validated Miller's claims and charged Patel, they could argue that the state agreed that her claims were not false. Moreover, charging her could be viewed as conceding that they made a mistake by
generational
arresting
changing
Patel,
money,
and the
dude.
state is not inclined to do so during his lawsuit. Similarly,
That
the Ackworth
district
Police
is-
Department and
that
district
city's getting
attorney
plea
would be
deals
less
so
inclined to draw
hard.
attention to their mistakes in this case. It's unlikely that Caroline will see any repercussions for her actions, which we believe is a miscarriage of justice. Her actions led to Patel's false imprisonment, and she should be considered genuinely dangerous. If she was able to warp a small, friendly interaction,
Especially since she's apparently tried to do similar 20 fucking times before this.
in a Walmart into a kidnapping by a serial
How is
predator,
this not
she could
like a
easily do the same or
problem?
worse
How is this
with
not a
anyone
big
she
deal?
engages with. Any man, woman, or child who talks to her could be slandered and have their lives ruined. If the security cameras hadn't been working that day, if no one had been around to discredit her story, an innocent man would like.
This is the type of shit that like right-wing influencers and stuff make people believe like every woman is walking around doing. Like, this is the shit that like grifters are like, yeah, you're bad. And you walk out in the street and you're going to get accused of a crime because the woman just, like, come on, bro. Get real. I mean, in this instance, it's true, but, you know, how many of these exist? Not many.
Still be sitting in prison while she continued to do interviews misrepresenting him. She'd be the ultimate victim, and he'd be the
Grifters love making straw men, dude. They love straw men.
Stories like this, there's been a small but vocal outcry from some individuals who think that what happened here is technically bad but not that big of a deal. That putting forward a false story the way Caroline did is a non-violent crime. Because no one was technically hurt, penalizing the claimant in any significant way is deemed unnecessary by these people. But I think that is far from true. As we all know, crimes against children are taken incredibly seriously in prison, and Patel could have easily been attacked, beaten, or killed while awaiting his day in court. He received a number of death threats. He was so stressed that he would be attacked that he lost 17 pounds.
Nobody hates child endangerers and pedophiles more than felons, dude. Nobody hates pedophiles more than prisoners. Nobody. Like, they do not last long in prison, and it's not because they had a small sentence.
He easily could have been hurt physically, and that is to say nothing of the trauma that he was forced to endure. His life has been forever changed in a multitude of ways. He's less trusting and less inclined to help other people, and his faith in the justice system has probably been tarnished forever. And every person who is responsible for doing that should be brought to justice. While it seems that she may be a deeply traumatized individual, that doesn't justify her actions or mean that she shouldn't face any real repercussions. But again, that will unfortunately likely not occur. So if you've made it to this part of the video, thank you so much for watching. Let us know what you think in the comments down below.
Did they ever put her on the stand? If there's a video you would like to see on the channel
or a case you want to bring more attention to, you can let me know by emailing me at dreading.official@gmail.com. We hope you're having a happy holiday season, and remember, stay safe.
Wowie, dude. Well, I hate that for him, but I love the fact that he might walk out with 25 million because of it. Sucks he had to go through something like that to even get something like that, but I have a feeling his whole family will be pretty okay for the rest of his life and his grandchildren's lives if he succeeds in this suit that he will easily win. Because, like, what the fuck? He shouldn't have even been detained. 3 days later, they go and arrest him. That's plenty of time from when she reported it while he was still in the store to go to that Walmart and look at the footage and be like, nah. Like, bruh. Blood boiling. Just an innocent old man wanting to find some Tylenol for his mom.